Greetings, greetings. Mr. Old Soul. Yeah, Old Soul, I see everybody's asleep. Let's see if other people show up. If not, I'm going to reschedule this if people don't show up. All right, just waiting. There's somebody else. Yeah, people always sleeping on Sunday, but this ain't church. This ain't a church weekend. It's weekend to wake up. Uh, no kids, so no Happy Father's Day here. Just wait a few more minutes, and then we'll start it off. See who else wakes up from their slumber. Well, look like the sleepyheads ain't coming in yet. All right, a few more minutes, then we can get it on and pop. Today's topic, as y'all know, is going to be consciousness versus con-sciousness. The difference between the two and how it correlates to today's time and how it's being used by people. Consciousness versus consciousness. Are you being conned through this general title now used by people called consciousness? It may hurt people's feelings. Personally, I don't give a damn. People need to get their feelings hurt sometimes to wake up. Alright, y'all. I'm gonna get on and popping since niggas want to sleep tonight. This morning. Some people are probably still at church, but then proclaiming to be so cultist, so witchery, so conscious, but they probably still praying to Jesus. Good old Jesus today. But that's their choice, not ours. Alright, so as people filter in, they'll catch up. And I'm sure they're going to ask these questions at the end because we're dealing with it now. But that's how people are. First of all, what is consciousness and what does it really mean? Now, we have been given this great definition of what people think consciousness is. They tell us all these things, but they don't really go further than that. Simple. Consciousness is just a state of being awake and aware of one's surroundings. Now, that's fine. It's just to be aware of your surroundings. But what is true consciousness? True consciousness is not to be aware of your surroundings. That's only the first stage or first level of attaining consciousness, is to be more awake, aware of things happening in and around you. But true consciousness, if we go back to an ancient Egyptian proverb, is know the world in yourself. Never look for yourself in the world, for this would be to project your illusion. This is exactly what is happening in today's world and how people are using this consciousness as if it's the end all of what consciousness is. Know yourself in the world. Know the world in yourself. Know the world in yourself. Understand that part. Never look for yourself in the world, for this would be to project your illusion. First of all, when you're awakening, one of the first stages is to be aware of your surroundings, aware of the things that are around you, aware of your culture, aware of your race, your identity. Those are the first stages. And when you look around, especially people who are in this conning people, conscious community, they keep people stuck at that first stage of awareness, which is just to be aware of your surroundings, to know the things that are happening around you, to know how you fit into the world around you, what your background is, what your ethnicity is, what your race is, how your nationality, what culture relates to that nationality, what language you speak. See, these are all mundane things. And they keep people stuck in that world of illusion because when you project yourself out into the world, instead of looking within to to learn the true self, when you project yourself out into the world, what you tend to do is your delusions are projected out into the world along with what you conceive or perceive to be awareness. So, for example, we as individuals, especially melanated individuals, get caught up in the world of illusion. And what do I mean by that? Well, they hype, broadcast, emotionally debate, emotionally argue, point the finger, project white supremacy. No doubt, there is such a thing as white supremacy insofar as people utilizing their racial privilege to condone and oppress others. But the powers that we sub that we project onto that is the illusion of the world, meaning we forecast our fears, our doubts, our insecurities, our inferiorities, anything of that nature, we project it out into the world as an illusion. And because of that, projecting it out to the world as an illusion, we never truly understand that we're being basically controlled by the world of illusion. So we'll hear, oh, white supremacy, this, white. Okay, no doubt, it's an effect. But understand, the more you feed a beast, the stronger it gets. The more you feed a beast, the stronger it will get. Meaning, the more I feed the illusion of power of white supremacy, then the more stronger this illusion becomes, encasing and enslaving my mind as if it's totally real. You only limit yourself by what you think. And if you think it's real, then it becomes real to enslave and encase your mind. Understand this. So they feed us fear from the world of illusion. Fear in which way? Fear of police brutality, police killings, police shootings. They happen. They happen and they've been happening way back. This is not some new phenomenon. Why it seems like it happens every day is because we have social media and you have cameras on your phones, and you can record things instantly, upload it instantly to YouTube or any of the social media platforms. So it seems like it's prevalent at a higher level. However, I can tell you stories of when I was in New York, or when I was in Hartford, and being me myself experiencing police brutality on a regular basis. But when did that change? It changed when I stopped feeding my fears of this happening. My fear of, oh, I'm going to have this happen to me. Nowadays, I don't even subject myself to that, or am I controlled by that? Not that it won't or can't happen, but your fears feed the illusion of the world as if something outside of you has more power to destroy or control you than you have power over yourself to control yourself. So if I continue on the path of illusions and looking out into the world for myself, to find myself in this world, then I will continue that world of illusion. I will continue feeding that and continue being controlled by that. To be aware of my surroundings is the beginning stage of consciousness. Where do you go next? You look within. Look within, because when you look within, you start to find who you are, not just superficially, as in your culture, your race, nationality, identity, the name given to you at birth, etc., etc. You know who you are. And what I mean by that is, what angers you, what controls you, what you react to, what you give life to, what you allow to exist in your external world is all controlled by what you think in here. It's all controlled by what you allow to exist in here. So if you have an issue or insecurity about your pain, your drama. Your pain, your traumas, your wounds, and you never go in there and deal with it, what will essentially happen is those pains, those traumas, your wounds, your insecurities, your inferiority, your anger, your hatred, your illusions of love, all these things will control your life. They will create a habitual pattern that you fall into and that you will find yourself being controlled by. This is why when you deal with consciousness, true consciousness is an inner awareness, is an inner understanding of how the inner, the mind, the self functions to create the external world and how you actually have power to control the external world, not the external world having power over you. But in today's world, we are dealing with consciousness, how we con people through this thing so called spirituality or magic or whatever different avenues there are, how you con people. One of the biggest cons is that you can't do nothing for yourself. You need a god. You need a goddess, goddesses, gods. You need an ancestor. You need this. Listen, I work with ancestors all the time. Your ancestors are there to give you guidance, strength, wisdom, knowledge, and power. But most of the time, if you really pay attention, they tell you you can do this on your own. They just there to assist you. You are the one who has the power to control your life. But we in this conscious community now, this con today, is basically externalizing and saying, oh, I need something outside of me to do it for me. I need somewhere, somehow, somebody to do something for me. As if you don't have the power to control yourself, as if you don't have the power to master yourself, to create your world. You have the power to do all these things, but the power is limited by what you think. That is the biggest problem. Is we are controlled by what we think. And because we allow ourselves to think lesser of ourselves, we then become lesser in our ways and actions and results. So here's another ancient Egyptian proverb. True teaching is not an accumulation of knowledge. For all those who think that there's some super conscious fool because they've read 1,000, 2,000, a million books. No. True teaching is not accumulation of knowledge. It is an awakening of consciousness which goes through successive stages. In ancient Kemet, you didn't get the knowledge like you do today and just Google something. You didn't have random access to books readily available to you. You went through a successive stage of conscious awakening through initiations. Each initiation brought you to another stage of awakening, another stage of expanding that consciousness outside of the normal external consciousness, but deeper inner awareness. Each stage brought you to another level. Nowadays, we think we got this. And most of us have never tasted the experience of what it's like to be initiated. Do you need to be? No, that's your choice. But it can only help. I don't see any initiation through all the schools I've traveled that ever negated or took away from my growth. It added to my growth. So in Kemet, you didn't just go and get the knowledge and say, yo, I want this knowledge, or I'm going to attend your class. Bullish, bull. You had to actually be initiated. And that, before you even entered the school or the temple, you had to have dealt with your issues, your pains, your traumas and wounds. You had to have dealt with a lot of that before you even entered the mystery schools. Now we got it easy. And because we have it easy, we think we have this entitlement privilege, like we think we're entitled to something just by the mere fact of us existing or by the mere fact of my ancestry. No, you still had to prove by doing the work that you were able to attain this consciousness and use it to expand yourself. That is the way that things really worked, not how we want it to be now. So, for example, in Egyptian Book of the Dead, it says, "What I hate is ignorance, smallness of imagination. The eye that sees no further than its own lashes, that is something that was hated." You have to look beyond your own lashes and realize the world is not external, it's an inward journey. Who you are is limited only by who you think you are. Who you are is limited only by who you think you are. So, whatever you think you are is as only as far as you will go. And if you think you are limited in your knowledge, limited in who you are, then that's as far as you're going. You have to be able to plug in to your inner awareness, to your inner self, to find the truth of yourself. The truth of yourself doesn't lie in the external. I'm gonna keep repeating that because that's where I see a lot of people getting stuck in conversations I have with people, in the work I've had with people, and things of that nature. It seems that people get stuck in the external. Everybody wants to be so everything external, but refuse to be anything internal. You can be whatever you want externally. You can put on a costume and be Aladdin for a day if that's what you want. But are you really Aladdin? No. Who you really are is inside yourself, and it's something that takes work to get there. It takes strong, serious work to get there to understand this. But right now, we have this conscious community going crazy debating about bullshit. Oh, the meta net to this or this or that. And you got to understand all that is limited. All that is just an illusion, meaning, okay, the meta netter, it was the language spoken by ancient Kemet. It's good to know that in your ritual work, but as an everyday communication, it's not beneficial. Now, you could get mad and angry because you want to be so pro-Kemetic and everything else, but it's not beneficial in everyday communication. Because, yes, you can speak to others who may be on the same Kemetic tip with you, but when you get outside of that, in everyday business affairs, everyday affairs, you're not going to be able to use it the way you would like to. So you have to really tap into the fact that, are you being conned by the information, by the knowledge and so-called spirituality you're receiving? Or are you really receiving something that's beneficial for your growth? Are you really receiving something that can assist you in your growth? Because if you're not, then yes, you're being conned again, and you're back under the conscious community crap, and you're back under costumes and makeups and illusionary titles and illusionary uh, ideas that don't really have any benefit for you. But if you really want to really know what consciousness is, you start taking an inward journey in dealing with who and what you are. And do you limit your mind? Do you limit who you are by your thoughts? Do you limit who and what you can become by your thoughts? Or do you expand that by taking an inward journey and dealing with the most detrimental and the most painful parts of yourself? The shadow self that you refuse to deal with, the part of yourself that is the hardest to accept. Because if you can't do that, then what are you really doing is playing a game with yourself and trying to act like you deep and so profound and so powerful because you think you have some consciousness. You think you got some knowledge and information. You can tell me all day and night about conspiracy theories. I dealt with them for years in the 80s and 90s, in the early 2000s. And what I found out is most people that deal with conspiracy theories are failures in life. They use conspiracy theories to basically approve of their failures of life as an excuse of why they can't succeed, as an excuse of why you shouldn't even work, or excuse of any of those things. But that's what people do. They love to jump on conspiracy theories. They love to jump on things that are external, always something outside of themselves. Listen to most people when they talk. 90% of their conversation is about external things. Very few people deal with inner work, shadow work, dealing with the parts of themselves that need the most work. Everybody wants to talk about the things outside of themselves. Oh, yo, did you see this happen out here? Yo, did you see this? Did you see the new Beyonce and Jay-Z video? Who gives a fuck? It's music, it's entertainment. You either like it or you don't. If you don't like it, keep it moving. If you like it, you dance to it, you enjoy it, you learn the lyrics, it's all good. But that's external things. True consciousness does not lie in the external. That is the first stage of consciousness, is external. True consciousness lies in the internal. Do you awaken the internal? Meaning, do you question why you react in such a way when a person says something about you? Do you react negatively? Are you a reactionary person or a proactive person? What do I mean by reactionary? Most people react to the things happening outside of them, the things said about them externally, the things, etc., etc. Everything's external, outside of, okay, I react to it. But if I'm proactive, I'm working on myself. So the things that are plaguing me and holding me back have been dealt with. So when somebody wants to say something about me externally, you just brush it off. It won't bother you. The reason why it won't bother you is because it's been dealt with within yourself. So if somebody says, Dan, you're full of shit, if you've dealt with that shit within yourself, if you've dealt with those parts of yourself, you won't react to it in anger and hostility and anything else. You've dealt with that part of yourself. So you just stay silent or smile at them or just say, and keep it moving, because you no longer have become a reactionary creature, as most of us are. You're now a person that's more in control. All right. So Amazon Jinx says he's in the Southwest Arizona, where everybody likes to show off their buffalo turquoise and portray as a shaman or be some sort of social justice warrior. But the reality is they are disconnected. That is so on point. Because in every region of the United States, you have different people portraying to be something else. Here in Florida, you have a lot of people that are going to portray to be voodoo saints, hogans or hugans, bokars or bukars, santero, santera, babalao, Kemetic, pharaoh, and whatever else. But as Brother Amazon Jinx here says, brother or sister, I can't tell because you can't tell through the picture. But anyways, most of them are disconnected. They're not really tuned into reality. Okay, sister, there you go. Now I know it's a sister. All right. They're not really connected to reality. They're disconnected. And what that is we have been given this conscious bullshit. And I keep saying this because it's a con. That to be conscious is to go up to the Himalaya mountains and sit with your legs crossed and do mantras all day, not shower for months, think like all hell. And then because I did that for 6 months, I'm now spiritually enlightened. I'm just transformed. So this person comes down off the mountain. They think they got it all together. They're so spiritual now. They got the look. They got the whole robe on. They got everything. Then one thing happens, and here come the old pain, traumas, and wounds coming to the surface. You just did 6 months for nothing because you never really dealt with that. You thought that you were going to transform your pain by just meditating it away. When that's not real meditation, that's kind of like superficial meditation. Why I say that is because you're not going in enough or deep enough to deal with that part of yourself that is in pain, that part of yourself that has effed you up for most of your life. So now you got the look, but the pain is still there. Listen, years ago, I could even show y'all some pictures. Years ago, when I was all into the Kemetic conscious community, I even had the collar, I had the apron, I had the whole Egyptian robe, I had the namaz, I had all that. And I had a lot of bullshit I never dealt with myself. So externally, I looked like I was a shit. Externally, I looked like, oh, he was a goddamn Egyptian priest. Internally, I had a lot of work to do. I know about that because I experienced it myself. I've been in that stage where it's about the outer exterior, looking nice, looking sweet, have the Egyptian musk on. You know what I'm saying? You carry an ankh, and then you think that the ankh's just going to transform you because you walking with an ankh. It's not going to do shit for you. It's just an external trimming. It's just an external accessory, and it looks nice. It makes you look deep. But when you speak to the person, you can hear the pain, you can hear the confusion, you can hear all these things. That's the disconnection. That's what consciousness has been painted as right now, is that you have to be some holy roly person. You have to be extreme in your nature. Everything is abstinence, or you have to be so pure vegan or whatever the hell may be. Listen, dietary choice is a personal choice. Just eat as healthy as possible, balance it out. All that external stuff, it doesn't work for everybody. I have my degree in alternative medicine, and one of the things we studied was nutrition in depthly. And I know from studies upon studies that not one diet works for everybody. Every diet lacks something that may not be beneficial for you as an individual. So you have to do the thorough research in yourself to find out what diet or what way to eat best benefits you. You can't say this is for everybody, so it's gonna work for us all. It's bullshit. I done heard it all. I done heard the master vegans. I done heard the master raw foodists. I done seen all that, and guess what happens to each and every one of us people? We all gonna die. One point in time, we all end up dying. And I've seen people who are super healthy die earlier than people who ate like total doo doo. All right? So you have to be aware of that. And yes, my brother Antoine, who himself is a master tantrist, that's why he's writing it in there. and and that's so true, Amazon. I know people who do massage therapy and everything is, and some people do Reiki and everything's the white light and the golden ore between my nuts and all these things, and everybody wants to be so master, and oh yes, I moved this blockage and I moved it away, and oh, I'm just so great and spiritual now. 3 months later, that same motherfucker come back that you just cleared away with worse problems. How much did you really do, folks? Because the problem is not you moving it away or opening the blockages. The problem is here inside these people. You can't tap into their mind. You can try to tap into what the messages that you're receiving, but you can't tap into the mind from of their mind and try to tell them what their problem is. Only they know that shit. And some of that's buried so deep, you can never really figure it out as a person who's trying to help them from the outside. So, this is what the conscious or conscious community has become today. Everything is so external. Yes, Amazon, they hate the true left-hand path. They hate the part of yourself, that individuated consciousness that breaks away from conformity, that breaks away from borders, boundaries, and limitations, that breaks away from programming and conditioning, that breaks away from wanting or needing some external God, goddess, some source outside of yourself to save you, help you, and you standing there as your own master over yourself, dictating and determining your life and governing your life as you see fit by the work you've done to go inwardly and deal with your own bullshit, master and control that shit. No, they don't like that. For one, you're taking money out of their pocket because now I can't go to a Reiki individual because I've dealt my own shit. What the hell can they do for me? If I've dealt my own shit and learned to control it, there's not a damn thing they can do for me. So I just took money out their pocket. Regardless of what any of these people say, they can be as spiritual and loving and divine as they want to be, and we're all one. It still comes down to this. It comes down to the money you make. And that's period. I done dealt with that. I done seen it. When I was deep into Santeria, I realized this is more a money-making scheme than it is about really helping somebody. Because every time there was a problem, oh, you need a reading. Oh, you need a spiritual bath. And these spiritual baths sometimes be $95. And then I learned something. I can make that motherfucking bath myself for about $5, $6, $7. Save myself 90 something dollars. And it'll probably be more effective because my spirit's going to guide me to what I need more to cleanse my own shit. That's what I realized in the work. And because of that, people hate you. They hate you for that because you don't need them anymore. That's all they do. They hustle. They hustle your ass with the stupidity of you need me. You need this the God truth. You need this divine knowledge I have. Listen, whether it's Farrakhan, I call him Farrakhan, whether it's Dr. York and his bullshit, whether it's any of these fools out here claiming to be your divine savior, whoever it is, when somebody tell you that they got the answer to your problems, run. Run fast and run fast away from them fools. Because they're just going to head you down the road to stupidity and more pain and more suffering. I'm telling you, that's the shit that they run on people. Yeah, they don't even have a license. They don't listen, man. Some people claim to be doctor of theology and they got that shit from a $5 website that just fucking you pay the $5 and they gave you a doctor of theology license. It's stupid shit, man. I'm just saying it's some dumb shit that people throw out here and people believe it and they accept it. Secondly, here's the other thing people do. Now we have to talk about the people that get on the left-hand path and they want to be super conscious there too. They want to be so super dark, and I'm so freaking, I'm just so evil. I'm just so, and they're fluffy as a butterfly. Okay? Please save that shit. Because people do that shit on the left-hand path too. This is why I like that Amazon said the true left-hand path. Because people do this shit on the left-hand path too. They wear the external trimming, they got the gothic look, you know what I'm saying? They got tats everywhere, they got piercings everywhere. That shit is all external. To me, that's just like you crying out for attention because that's just another costume, but now you're darker, more mysterious, and more evil. But then you fluffy. I don't listen, please cut that ish out, okay? Because that don't mean nothing. That's just an external trimming. That don't mean nothing. That don't mean you've dealt with your bullshit, okay? And then when you get into some real ish and you don't get your way with a person, you want to go cry foul. You want to go cry like a baby and complain and comment and do all these things to other people, but don't address that person yourself. That's the baby ish. That means you still haven't learned nothing. You're on the left hand path still acting like a baby. Now you're using the left hand path to justify what? More of your issues, but oh, I'm transcending it because I'm so dark and my vagina goes to the black hole and it opens up and it just opens the universe. Get the fuck out of here. I done heard all that shit for years too. And most of that stuff does not do nothing for you. It just massages your own ego with more illusions and more delusions and more stupidity. Consciousness, consciousness, real inner awareness, going inward. Consciousness starts at successive stages. First stage, aware of your surroundings. Second stage, inner truth, working on the shadow self and elevating. That's real consciousness, not the first stage. So understand that. And without, trust me, I got to take a trip to Arizona because I done heard about everybody out the woodworks in Arizona wants to be Native American now, a shaman. Everybody wants to walk around with a crow or a freaking hawk on their shoulder and all kinds of stuff. This shit is just ridiculous, y'all. It's just ridiculous. Yes, and Amazon, Aleister Crowley is the Christopher Columbus of the left-hand path. And he's not as dark as people thought because he had some shit that was dark and some other shit that wasn't. Everybody wants to worship Aleister Crowley, please. There was others before Aleister Crowley that was doing shit and going and breaking shit down more than Aleister Crowley ever could. Look, fuck Obatala, okay? Let me tell you, Antoine. I did so many Obatala retros, the shit that not, I had every fucking costume of Obatala you could think of. Okay? I had motherfucking white African robes galore. I had the shit so fly, so flashy. You know, I had the robe, and then I had the jacket that goes on top of the robe. Then I had the little fucking, African kufi, or basically it looks like an African fez, but it's made out of cloth. I had all of that. It didn't do a goddamn thing for me. It made me feel really good because I was egotistically looking nice and fly and flashy with that shit on the outside. All right? Inwardly, no, didn't do much. Okay? As a matter of fact, you spend more money in Santeria and things like that to try to do a ritual and get some results than you actually are doing a result. I mean, actually doing a ritual for the result. You spend more time acquiring the shit you need than you actually do work on yourself. You got to get this. You got to get the chicken. You got to get this. You got to do that. You got to cook this. God damn. Well, when the hell are we going to deal with my issues, my problems? There's no answer because they can't really do it for you. So when you deal with real consciousness, look at yourself. Point the finger at yourself. In any situation, there's two people in every situation. What is your part in that situation as to why something worked or didn't work? Stop blaming the other person. Blame yourself for the part of your situation in that situation. Blame yourself for that part. Okay? Blame and look at yourself because the first thing, and I don't give a damn how long you've been in the left-hand path. I hear this all the time. People be all left-hand path and something goes wrong. First thing they do is go blame that other person. But we're so deep. We got this shit now. I'm on the left hand. I'm individuated consciousness. I dealt with my shit. If something happens to you, you want to blame that motherfucker because you didn't get your way. You didn't get what you wanted out of the situation. So you want to point the finger and say, oh, they lied and they didn't this. How did they lie? You can't even pinpoint how they lied. You think I'm stupid? I'm on YouTube. You think I put my private life out here for people? Y'all must be crazy. I am not one of these YouTube fools who shows you that their whole inner life, sitting on the toilet, taking a shit and everything else. Okay, show you all their children. What are you, stupid? If somebody wants to get you, they know exactly where you live. They know exactly who your kid. They can get you. That's the stupidest thing you could do. You keep your personal life private if you on YouTube. But y'all fools out here broadcasting everything about your personal life. What size underwear you wear, what size shoes, all this stupid shit. Who gives a damn? That's your personal ish. And you motherfuckers who watch that shit are just as stupid as the motherfuckers broadcasting that shit. Oh, look. He has pink socks on. He's so stylish. But the motherfucker ain't showered or washed his feet in 2 weeks. I don't give a fuck. All right? That shit is irrelevant to me. I'm not stupid. And if you ask me, yeah, I'll share some personal shit with you, but I'm not going to tell you my whole personal life. So stop asking me. And if that's a lie to you, the motherfucker keep it moving. I'm not sharing my personal life with people unless I really get to know you. And that shit takes years, 5, 6 years. I don't get to know you in a year or 2 years. Bullshit. Because you can, look, bullshit. I'm just saying that. All right? Second, if we're in the left-hand path, people, you should understand that we are not. We're okay. First of all, if you're on the left-hand path, one of the first things you're trying to do is reprogram yourself, break the programming and the conditioning you've been placed under from family, from society, from religion. And that means you address and question everything, including your own culture. I was raised in the Puerto Rican culture. That does not mean I have to fucking accept everything in the Puerto Rican culture, because some of that shit is plain stupid. Just because it's a part of my culture, I'm not going to justify the shit. If it's stupid, it's stupid. That's real left-hand path. Not just saying, I'm Puerto Rican, so that's just what we do. Fuck out of here. That means you just made an excuse for being stupid in so many words. Please, people. So if your custom or tradition is a certain way, don't put that shit on me. Don't put your custom or tradition on me and expect me to conform to your custom and tradition. And if I don't accept your custom and tradition, you take it offensively, hey, that's not my problem. I'm walking the path you're walking. I'm walking this path differently than what most of y'all are walking. I don't mean people tuning into this video. I'm talking about walking this path differently than what we've been conditioned and programmed to walk. Question your culture. Question your nationality. Question every part of yourself. And don't place yourself, your customs and traditions on me and expect me to accept it as if it's okay. And then if I don't, you take offense to it, keep it moving. Because if you get offended over something simple like that, this ain't for you. So again, I keep going back to consciousness and consciousness. We're being conned by a lot of individuals out here. I don't care who they call themselves. If you over there debating about who's the original and who was darkest and who was most melanated and who had the original lip ring and anything else, get out of my face with that. That's all just freaking superficial external shit that is just temporarily there to massage your ego. At the end of the day, after you hear that lecture and you go home and you walking into them projects, ain't nothing changed, homeboy. You can feel all good. I'm a king. Yeah, I'm the king, and still be fucked up and working at McDonald's the next day taking orders from some fat white person who don't give two shits about you. Please, don't give me that ish. I done heard and seen enough, walked enough. I get this question quite often. I'm gonna just say this because listen, I just turned 47 a week and a half ago. So no, I'm not young cat. I may have the young energy and youthful energy, but I'm not young, dude. I done seen enough shit in this world that I'm not like these other people. Meaning, I done walked in so many damn freaking conscious circles. I done joined and walked into so many organizations been initiated in quite a few things. I'm not the person who just says, okay, I read all these books and I have all this knowledge and I'm going to just share it to con you to get something from you. No, I walked inside of a lot of these things because I learned that some of these things are beneficial to your growth. So I try to share some of it without divulging some of the oaths and secrets and oaths that I took without disrespecting it. But there's shit that is not readily put out there. So I'm not just here a person who's just gonna diarrhea the mouth and keep talking about shit that I've not experienced. Everything I've talked about, I have experienced. I'm not just sitting here saying, you know, that I did this, that, and never even set foot inside of it. Yes, I went inside. Thank you, Amazon. Y'all trying to massage my ego, and I love you motherfuckers for it. Anyways, but yeah, I'm gonna keep up the good work. That's why after this video, I'm gonna hit the gym and eat some healthy shit. A little pork on the side. No, fuck no, I don't touch pork. Anyways, so any questions, comments, concerns before we end this? Bring it. Bring it, bring it. One day, Amazon, because I got some of y'all on my email list. One day, I'm gonna send old pictures of me and some shit. Yeah, I'm gonna send you some shit with me wearing my African garb, me wearing my Egyptian shit. I'm gonna show y'all that I'm not just talking. I was literally in that shit. When I had my all white, I look like Puerto Rican Obatala came down from heaven. If that place exists, I'm just saying. I mean, I thought I was the shit. Antoine, no, he saw me. He was there. He saw me rocking this stuff. All right, Katir, how do I feel about Hebrew Israelites and Spanish and okay? I think any religion is full of shit. I'm just being straight to the point. Whether it's Hebrew, whether it's Islam, whether it's Christianity. Listen, I was a Muslim for years. Okay? I also studied intently the Hebraic doctrine, the Christian doctrine. And I can tell you, there's some truths in religion because anything to succeed and last this long has to have some level of truth in it. So am I going to say it's all bullshit? No, there is some truth in it. And there's a lot of mysteries within some of those scriptures. But the dogmas, the fundamentalism of some of these traditions and religions is stupid as heck. All right? Now, I'm going to address this. I'm not trying to disrespect you, Katir, but there is no such thing as Spanish people. No. That's like saying an African American is an English person because they speak English. Most Latinos speak the language or Hispanic, whatever the fuck they want to call themselves nowadays. My family still don't know what the hell they want to call themselves. They're so-called Latino, Hispanic, and everything else, whatever. I'll put it this way. Most people hear and label people Spanish because they speak Spanish. So if a Haitian speaks Creole, which is a derivative of French, are they French? No, they're not. You understand? I'm just trying to make a point. They're not that language which they speak. That language, 9 times out of 10, was given to them by the colonizer, the oppressor. They were forced to speak it and accepted it. So most people who are called Spanish are not really Spanish. They're either Latino is also another derivative of a European word trying to describe a group of people, Hispanic as well. And if you look up these words, a lot of them relate back to Spanish origin. The problem with that is this. A lot of people in Latin America, the Caribbean, Spanish-speaking Caribbean, have African ancestry Taino or indigenous ancestry. In Central and South America, they have Aztec, Mayan, Incas, etc., etc., etc. The majority of these people have a good percentage or half of their percentage or even more that are either African, indigenous, or combination of that, and a great percentage of Spaniard. The problem with that is a lot of the Spaniards that came here also were influenced or mixed in with the Moors. So how Spanish or European or Caucasian really they are is to still be determined, because according to scientific reports recently, up to 24% of Spaniards, especially from southern Spain, most Spaniards from southern Spain have up to a percentage of 24% African DNA. Yeah, they don't say that shit because everything wants to be, whitened or Europeanized. But yes, a lot of these Southern Europeans and Southern Spaniards who came to the islands and Latin America were mixed in or descended from the Moors. So again, they're not Spanish. Loosely, some can call them Latino Hispanic, but in reality, they are from where they're from. A lot of Puerto Ricans will use the term Boricua because the original name of the island was Boriquen. The Spaniards changed the name to Puerto Rico, meaning rich port, but that's not what it really is. The name of the island was originally Boriquen. So when Puerto Ricans say Boricua, they're identifying with the Tainos and the Africans who were brought over, the ones who were already here, because there was many Tainos who were of African descent, and they noticed. They just don't broadcast it or say it. Okay, again, that bullshit. So they know that the two first people to really come together was Tainos and people of African descent that were brought, or the ones who were here. So now that group of people, okay, when they say Boricua, you're really identifying with those indigenous roots. And for example, Jamaica, the original name of Jamaica is really of a Taino origin, the name. The J wasn't there. It was originally, if you transliterate it, would have been with an X. It would have been Jamaica or Xmaica. So the original people were there. You got to understand, all this stuff is just names and titles to confuse, to divide. Well, so that's the thing. Now, a lot of these Hispanics, so-called Hispanics, through slavery, some were brought through slavery from African area, West African areas, even as far as South Africa, even as far as East Africa. Okay, because I've seen percentages, DNA results from some people throughout Latin America, and some of them had percentages as high as 10 and 15% from Kenya, which is way in East Africa. Go figure how the heck that ended up in Puerto Rico, let's say. Okay. So when I look at the Hebrew Israelite doctrine, it's still religious, which I don't accept a lot of those things. Now, when you look back and you go further and you say, okay, well, are some of these so-called Hispanics, would they tie into the Israelites? Would they tie into the tribe of Judah, things like that? If you want to use the biblical sense, yes, they do, because even it's been proven that when you go down, there's DNA as far as South Africa that would be considered Hebrew DNA or Jewish DNA, and they're the Lemba tribe of South Africa. And all through there, when you go through Sudan and Ethiopia and places like that, yes, there's some trace of Hebraic or Jewish DNA. And some of those tribes migrated from East Africa and went all the way to West Africa. So some of the Igbo and Yoruba and people in those areas have that in there. So yes, if you want to use the biblical sense and try to tie it in that way, yes, some of these so-called Hispanics have direct blood back to some of these Israeli tribes. Is it the way the Hebrew Israelites say? Fuck no. Okay? But that's if you want to stay stuck in the Bible. And the left-hand path, we're trying to break free from all religious indoctrination or teachings, because religion overall is used to create a spell over the minds of people, specifically melanated people, the world over, and keep us in a state of mental slavery. Whether it's mental slavery to Yahweh, Jehovah, God, Allah, Jesus, whatever religious titles, names, uh, denominations, whatever, it ties us into slave mind. Because you can say, yeah, but God is almighty, he's all knowing. And I would be like, God is almighty, all knowing. Then how the fuck is all this shit happening on the planet? And then they'll say the devil, but then you go into the Bible and it says God created the devil too. So is God doing all things? So if God's fucking up the planet, why for? And if God's fucking up the planet, how do I fucking protect myself from that shit? And then I see Jews and Hebrews dying from shit too. Listen, when a hurricane came through here, there's Hebrew Israelites in Orlando. Them motherfuckers felt the pain too. Yahweh didn't say, oh, I'm gonna take the hurricane and jump over the house of this Hebrew Israelite because they're so righteous and so pious that I'm gonna go around that house. That motherfucking house got fucked up too when the hurricanes came through here. That shit is irrelevant at the end of the day. Because on Left Hand Path, we don't externalize nothing. No gods, goddesses, this, that, or the other. Stuff dog, regardless, stories, no stories. The point is this, and I feel you, Stuff dog. We're here today. Okay? Those are all stories. I wasn't there. We're here today. What you're going to do with what you are today, who you are today, the power you have today, the knowledge you have today, and the ability to get stronger, more powerful, that's what's relevant to me. All that shit in the past is irrelevant. It's just stories. Some of that shit is good to know. Other that shit I could care less to know. Stuff dog, I feel you. It's all about what you're going to do today with what you have today and the power you have today. You feel me? Because we all are fucked up today. A lot of us are fucked up individuals today, regardless how original or non-original you are. We're all fucked up mentally, physically, spiritually. What you do today is what counts with me. I know those stories because I was drilled with them stories. In every conscious community, every organization, I was drilled with them stories. I done heard them stories so I could regurgitate them with my eyes closed and everything else. But what's important to me is what you work and how you work it today. If you ain't cultivating that energy, that power, that mind, then I ain't trying to hear that shit. Basically, that's what I tell people all the time. Yeah, I know the history. I know da. That's great. What are you doing today, bro? What are you doing today, sis? This is all I care about. Because all that other shit is irrelevant to me. It doesn't really, not irrelevant in the sense that, okay, my family history, yeah, that's great. But I still have to determine what I'm going to do with my life right now at this moment. I can't dictate what I'm going to do or 10 minutes from now. I can plan for that. I can plan and create plans, but I can utilize my power, my mind, and my strength to assure that I do something in 10 minutes and not just talk about it and sit here and not do nothing. That's what I do know, that I can determine what I'm going to do now and how far it can take me is all dependent on my will, my strength, and my mind. So, exactly, Amazon, you believe your own truth. Your own truth. What is the truth to you about you, who you are, what you are, how you govern your life, how you determine your life? And the reason I work the Left Hand Path is because of all the shit I traveled through, all the magic, all the freaking secret organizations, all the spiritual, all the religions. This is one of the only paths I found that gave me the power to determine my own situation from moment to moment. That gave me the power to go into my shadow and deal with my own bullshit so I can master my weaknesses and turn some of those weaknesses into a strength to become even more powerful. There's only a few things in life that people are missing right now. I'm going to say one of these because this is one of my models I've been saying for years, and Antoine can verify this. Listen, the blood or Lamb of God can be wiped on my ass, and I do not give two shits because I don't give a fuck about no Lamb of God or wiping blood. Okay. Anyways, Antoine, the man. Anyways, one, you're either a master or a slave. That's one thing I know from my time on this planet and walking this planet. You're either a master or a slave. You're either going to master yourself, master your domain, master your existence, or you're going to be controlled and enslaved by the stupidity of the teachings of the world, the programming of the world, anything of that nature. You either one or the other. I refuse to be a slave. I master myself. And I'm not talking about being a master like a slave master and all this. No, I'm talking about mastering yourself, mastering your faults, your weaknesses, mastering your issues, your pains, your traumas, mastering your weaknesses and turning weaknesses into strength, becoming a stronger person mentally, physically, spiritually. That's what I'm talking about. Okay? And if you can translate that shit into financial success, beautiful. If you could translate that to offering or providing some shit to assist others that may be like-minded, beautiful. That's what I'm talking about. Being a slave is being controlled and programmed by if Kim Kardashian's ass is real or not. To me, that shit is mad fake. Most of these, that's a side story, but I'm just say this. In today's world, a lot of these asses are fake. And the niggas who tell you I don't give a fuck, use dumb as a fuck too. I'm about to, if that shit is not organic, I ain't rolling with that shit, bitch. It can look all nice, but that shit is sticking out this far and you got legs this skinny, motherfucker, that shit is not real. Okay, and if you like that shit, there's some shit you need to check within yourself, homeboy. If you like some disproportionate, retarded looking shape and body, and the ass is bigger than the fucking hips and thighs and fucking toothpick legs, dude, check yourself. So I'm gonna say. Okay? I don't care about shit like that. I'm just bringing it up because this is what the world is distracted by today. That's another thing, stuff, dog. Dudes, my brothers out here, if your pants is tighter than a female's, you might have to check yourself. There's some insecurities and there's some tendencies you're not dealing with. Okay? I'm just saying. If you go shopping for pants at a woman's store because your shit is not tight enough, I have no words. I just have no words for what I'm seeing in today's world. This is I just can't grasp my mind around it. Niggas are wearing fanny packs like they're purses. I just don't get it. If you're wearing a fanny pack and it got some glittery shit on it, you might want to check yourself, brother. Okay? And if you're rapping and you sound like you're mumbling, that's not rap, homeboy. That's you sticking a fucking. That's like you taking. Anyway, that's a whole nother story. That's some shit that I just don't understand, y'all. Yes, the hyperfeminization of the male, particularly melanated men. It's just I don't get it. And the reason why I say particularly melanated men is because way back in the 80s and 90s, I go way back. 70s, 80s, 90s, I remember a lot of that stuff. Exactly. Stuffed dog is exactly how they sound like that. They got something in their mouth, whether it's a fucking the thing the baby sucks on or a fucking cock in their mouth. That's exactly how they sound, right? Anyways, but The reason I said melanated people and the hyperfeminization of melanated men is because way back in the 70s, 80s, and 90s, a lot of melanated men were not dressing the way they are today. A lot of men were proud to be a man, and they were dressed in a certain way. Depending on the era and the time, there's certain styles that were out. But some Caucasian men were feminated. I'm just being real. I done seen enough to know that a lot of them were feminine. Okay. Then some of that started translating into making a lot of melanated men feminized. And you could see it happening little by little. At one time, we was wearing jeans, all this, and suits and all that. And then niggas started wearing dresses. And then trying to say, well, in Africa we wore dresses. No, motherfucker. We did not wear dresses in Africa. They were not fucking called dresses. They were never fucking dresses, okay? Cut the shit. So this is what's happened. And unfortunately, this young generation of rappers is what is influencing and programming the youth. So, peeps, there's work to be done because that's influencing the peeps. The young generation coming up are being influenced by this. Okay? So now when they think of a man, they think of these dudes out there. Okay? And that's the image that is implanted in their mind of what a real man is like. So what does that tell you? Programming is real. And I chose this path because this is one of the paths I felt after going through it for years is one of the paths that many of our melanated people need because we are on some dumb shit now and we are so freaking religious. We're so faithful and we believe in so much superstition that we need to break all that shit to realize you're the only God. You're the God over your life. You're the God over self and you control your life. There is no God out there doing it for you. There is no Allah doing it for you. There is no Yahweh doing it for you. There is no gods and goddesses doing it for you. You are doing it for yourself, and only you can do it for yourself. And when you give people the tool of them learning to take the key, open the door to their own personal life, and be the master of that life, you then empower the people to be gods over themselves. We can start making moves out of this stupid, blinding, spellbinding stupidity we're living in today. You feel me? That's the only shit that's why I took this path. Because I realized that all this other shit always has some kind of way that you had to worship somebody. The Wiccans. And any black person practicing Wiccan, I'm sorry. Shit is not for you, son. If you want to try it, that's all good. But it's not for you. They want to fucking worship the goddess. The holy nipple of the goddess. Listen, the nipple's holy. But it's holy to me when I'm sucking on it, licking it, rubbing it, putting olive oil on it, putting something nice on it. You understand? Otherwise than that, I'm not spooking it out and saying, look at the holy nipple. Let's call the goddess who blessed us with the nipple. Listen. I just can't get with shit like that. I don't get it. Yes. The time we're in now, the Kali Yuga, all shit that can break loose, all shit that's been hidden, all shit that's been buried, all the chaos will hit. And now it's going to come to the surface even more about androgyny and how the original beings were androgynous, that's hitting the surface now. But true androgyny in today's world is mastering the masculine and feminine within yourself, elevating the masculine and feminine through the kundalini, reaching your crown, and bringing a higher state of consciousness and awareness. That's the mastery. That's the work. However you get there is how you get there. You can use rituals to do that. You can work strictly on yoga, kundalini, however you get there. All of this work is just energy. It's learning how to work the energy, manipulate the energy to empower yourself. Whatever path you take, or you can combine those paths, that's all it really is all about. Mastering self, becoming a god over self, and becoming more powerful over self. This is the work. All of this is a journey to master yourself, and to master yourself is a stage, successive stages of life that are lifelong. People think, oh, I got 20 years in this, I'm such a wise person. No, it's gonna still take you more years to keep mastering yourself, because every time you think you master yourself, bingo, here comes another programming. Now you gotta deal with this. You got to learn how to combat that. You got to master and overcome how they're trying to program you, whether it's through movies, media, social media, all these different platforms that come out. You constantly have to be vigilant. You constantly have to be on guard. You constantly have to be like Ampu or Anubis, the guide who's there to help not only guide you through this muck and mire of life, not only take you through the subconscious realm of your mind to do that, but also to stand vigilant and guard against the stupidity that's coming towards you and in you from out there. You understand? That's the real shit. Exactly. And Stuff Dog, that's the shit I said in one of these other videos. Androgyny in the spirit realm is more real than it is in the physical realm. Okay, in the physical realm, it's about learning to master the masculine and feminine, merging them two. That don't mean, listen, people, when you're, the way to learn to be masculine, let me say this again. The way to learn to be masculine, right? I mean, to be masculine is to learn to master all aspects of masculinity. I don't mean that you have to be masculine or masculine. No, that's not what I'm saying. That means you master every aspect of what it's like to be masculine. That warrior energy, that masculine warrior energy, like Shango, like Ogun, right? Like Satuk or Set, like Heru, mastering that warrior energy. The more you master and go deeply into mastering that warrior energy, the more you start to understand what the feminine energy is like. The more you go in depth into the masculine energy, the more you start to begin to learn what the feminine energy is like. Because in those extremes of polarities is when you realize that the polarities really don't exist. They're just vibrational frequencies in varying degrees of the same thing. And you'll start to realize that if you're feminine, if you're a female, you become, you as a female, you go 100% into learning what it's like to be a female. All of that shit of what it's like to be a female. And like that for a man. And then you learn what the feminine polarity is in you as a man and masculine as a woman. That don't mean that you become masculine as a female and you start to dress like a dude, be like a dude, and act like a dude. That's not mastering that shit. That's an imbalance. That's not, oh, this person, she's such a stud. Listen, I'm gonna address that shit too. I don't give a shit if people like me or don't, agree with me or not. If you say you're lesbian, which in a sense of a word means you love women, why the fuck you with a stud who looks like a dude, dresses like a dude, and acts like a dude but doesn't have a dick? That means subconsciously you still want a fucking dude. Anyways, that's another story. All right. Now, so what we have to understand is You master things when you go in depthly into it. Then you learn its polarity at the same time, because when you learn something, you see the difference of it, but you see the similarities in it. That's the merging aspect. Okay? That's the merging aspect. You can't say, well, I want to learn the masculine as a female, and then you become masculine in a sense where you start to forget or lose some of your femininity and you become more masculine. That's no. This is an internal work. It's inner alchemy, y'all. All right? It's inner alchemy. It's dark side alchemy. It's all done within the shadows, within the self. Everything is externalized. This is what I said earlier. Consciousness nowadays, everything is externalized. It's an external thing. All right, so I'm going to take 3 questions and then I'm going to wrap this up because I got to hit the gym. Stay working out. 3 questions, then we out. All right, Amazon, you got no questions? Cool. Peace, peace, mom. Damn, it's hot as fuck in Florida today. Sure, it's hot in Arizona too. Ah, shit, this Antoine dude. Listen, we're gonna do a video on this alpha male thing. I am not going into that now. You just want to open a can of worms, and that's about 2 hours more. Not happening. Do a video on that one day. Goddamn Antoine Jones, boy, I tell you. All right, if y'all don't got no questions, then I'm out. And if y'all have any topics you want me to discuss next Thursday, because I didn't do it this Thursday like I normally do. I had a root canal done, and trust me, my mouth was sore. I wasn't about to talk. So hit me up next week. Hit me up on my email. Let me type it in again for y'all those who don't have it. Hit me up if you have any topics you want to discuss next week. Give me ideas, y'all. I love hearing what y'all think, what ideas. This topic was an idea somebody emailed me with, so I said, all right, let's do it. I don't always come up with the crap myself, okay? I don't sit there 2 weeks in advance, a week in advance, and say, oh, what am I going to talk about? Let me just talk about this. I just go with what my spirit guides me. That's where we end up at. So, y'all have any topics, email me right here, and I'll check y'all next week. Peace.